welcome all of you, our distinguished guests and esteemed audience, to this landmark discussion, Asia Rising: Implications for the World Economy, organized by Youth Forum on Foreign Policy in association with Eclectic Times at Pragjyoti ITA Center for Performing Arts, Machkhowa, Guwahati. It is indeed our honor and privilege to have two very special dignitaries amongst us. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Nobel laureate Joseph E. Stiglitz, Professor of Economics at Columbia University, and Lord Meghnad Desai, world-renowned economist and Professor Emeritus, London School of Economics. Thank you very much for that round of applause. Welcome, sirs. Making this afternoon even more memorable is the presence of our chief guest, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Shri Tarun Gogoi, who has graced the occasion along with Madam Dolly Gogoi. May I now request Shri Shantanu Thakur, Secretary Cultural Affairs, Government of Assam, to read out the citations to be presented by Honorable Chief Minister to Professor Stiglitz and Lord Desai.
On behalf of the people of Assam, I welcome you to our state. We are grateful to you for your outstanding contribution in the field of economics, especially at a time when the global economy is going through a difficult phase. Resource-rich Assam is fast catching up with the rest of resurgent India. We shall look forward to your advice, intellectual guidance, and macroeconomic insights in formulating pragmatic and sustainable development policies for the state in harmony with the national and global contexts. May the memories of the mighty Brahmaputra River, the pristine beauty of Kaziranga National Park, a World Heritage Site, and the beautiful cultural heritage of Assam always be with you. The warmth and affection of the people of Assam will be waiting to welcome you again. Signed, Tarun Gogoi, Chief Minister Assam, Guwahati, 10th of January, 2012.
I would now like to request Rohan Mukherjee and Shaili Hingorani, co-founders of Youth Forum on Foreign Policy, and Tanushri Hazarika, Managing Director of Eclectic Group, to felicitate Honorable Chief Minister and Madam Dolly Gogoi.
Economic reform also has not been able to solve all the problems. Even globalizations also. We need globalizations. But at the same time, we must give important localization also. I may be wrong also, I don't know. I am not in economics. I am a politician also. My base is a rural base. Sometimes I am a rural economist. To me, economics is the concern for the poor and downtrodden. Unless we improve the economic condition of the poor and downtrodden, you see, this is the basic economics according to me.
A prolific writer in 2002, Lord Desai, wrote a book on Marx's Revenge, the resurgence of capitalism and the death of Stalinist socialism, which states that globalization would tend towards revival of socialism. In 2004, he published what he calls as his greatest achievement, the book Nehru's Hero, Dilip Kumar. Professor Joseph Stiglitz, it's been a great sort of joy to introduce our respectable Professor Joseph Eugene Stiglitz. In 2011, he was named by the Foreign Policy magazine amongst the top list of global thinkers. He is credited with revolutionizing the world of economic thinking through his books and most recently through Free Fall, Free Markets and the Sinking of the Global Economy, and critically acclaimed book, Globalization and Its Discontents.
Now, let me start by, Joseph Stiglitz is actually not just a practical economist, he's one of the greatest theorists, and I respect him more as a theorist when we used to work together, in different economic departments. Now, you have been warning Western countries about the weakness of the financial structures, their lack of regulation, so on. What we are witnessing now is the rise of Asia and a relative decline or slowing down of the West. Do you see this as arising from a common set of circumstances, or do you think this is a completely new world in which we are going to live?
Well, first, I think you need to think about this in historical perspective. In 1820, China and India together had 45% or more, 50% of global GDP. And then a series of things, colonialism, unfair trade agreements, fair trade practices, industrial revolution, resulted in the share of GDP of these two countries going from, I say, near 50% down to less than 10%.
Going then one thing further, will the reform of the global governing institutions, IMF, World Bank, perhaps giving the emerging economies a bigger role, would that improve the efficiency of the international monetary system? Or you think it's more the private financial markets which are the problem, not the regulatory system?
I think that it's inevitable that the emerging markets will eventually get more voice, but it's also almost inevitable that the United States and Europe are going to be resistant. Sure. And it's going to be very, very difficult. The issues that we raised are equally relevant, but the form they take is different. It's like the Chief Minister said, you have to have different policies for different countries and even different parts of a country.
No, let me just extend that a little bit further. I would say populism is giving people something without charging the proper price for it, because the price falls somewhere else in the system. Now, one of the big debates going on in India, as you're no doubt aware, is about corruption, and whether corruption has become part of the system because that is the way it performs its tasks, or whether one can go on having populist policies, but as it were clear them of.
Our important role of investments in research and technology. I think those are some of the bases that really provide a basis of long-term economic growth. I think one of the things that one should avoid are the high inequality that is arising in the United States. The period where we grew most rapidly in the United States from 1950 to 1973 or so was a period where we had increasing equality. Things were getting closer together, and it was also a period of rapid economic growth.
Indeed.
But what's happened?
And full employment.
What?
Full employment and rapid economic growth.
And the period since then has been one of lower growth and growing inequality.
Yeah, I would say that Joe Stiglitz writes very good, clear books, which if you read, you will learn a lot. And he's not even paying me for this, okay?
The third question that came in from the student fraternity is from Anisha Chaudhary from Ahom Jatiya Vidyalaya.
A very good afternoon to both of you. My question to you is, in a developing country like India, how can the common people get involved in the development of economy?
In a variety of ways. For example, you can be part of the civil society movements, which might be for microfinance or self-help groups, or you can be in movements against corruption.
Experience of traveling around Assam for the last couple of days. I hope you had a good time. I just wanted to know that since you've also been in the thick of working with the IMF and international organizations, I wanted to know how you feel that these local interests, of, say, a rural farmer in Assam gets represented in the IMF.
Of the international institutions that we talked about before, that the international institutions are
effectively run, have been in the...
That even though it has been 45 minutes, they still want this interaction to go on. I'm very thankful to some of our students who have traveled all the way from Jorhat, from Golaghat, from Silchar, from Shillong, from Nagaland, and also our guests from Guwahati and as well as Manipur.
Program like this, it's difficult to address all that is pertinent. But the speakers, they took a very pragmatic view of what's happening. But I'm sure there are a lot of loose ends in the arguments because the questions were, not very structured, as they cannot be in such a situation. But then what we gained was, it gave us new insights to look into everyday problems from different angles, and there are pluses and minuses in what solutions were also offered. But overall, it was a very illuminating experience.
মানে কি বহুত জানিব পাৰিছো ইন্ডিয়ান ইকোনমি এন্ড পলিটিক্সৰ বিষয়ে বহুত এক্সপেৰিয়েন্স পাইছো মানে কথাবিলাকৰ বহুত ভাল লাগিছে বহুত প্ৰেৰণা পাইছো তাৰ পৰা
I'm Bishwarupa Sharma from Cotton College. It was a very nice show. We enjoyed it. Very informative, very interactive. Wish we had more of the real discussion though.
Both are wonderful people. बहुत ভাল লাগিলে এটা আমি গুটেবোৰ কটন কলেজৰ পৰা আহিছো it was very unexpected সাইমান ভাল লাগিছে বুজিমাৰ কথা কলে for a student is very helpful আমাৰ কাৰণে বহুত helpful হ'ব আৰু it was a very nice experience